AceOfPyrite, I've already messed up the name on know. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the R6 community nights and their participation in it and what they think about community-based events and stuff as well. And the night. So, Ace and Lady are here, obviously. If you want to introduce yourselves, say a bit about yourself.
Ladies first.
Hi, I'm Hattie. I am a streamer for T3H and I play mainly R6 for about 3 years or so, I'd say. And that's about it, really.
I am Tim. I'm AceOfPyrite, one of the UK casters for competitive Siege. Do the Premiership, done the recent series of the recent season of Challenger League. Do all sorts of things, really. I've also got the YouTube side with Enough Is Enough and a little bit of streaming and just all around journeyman of the Siege community, I think.
Yeah, obviously I'm Lamb. Just Lamb. No, but yeah, anyway, I would like to get straight into this. So the R6 community night. Plural, there was multiple of them. Anyway, as we know, Hattie, you played in one of those nights, and Ace, you casted all of those nights. And if I'm not right, didn't you organise it?
No, it was
it
was organised by Ubisoft.
But you're a big advocate of community-based things, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something similar that I've been involved in myself as well a little while. I think it's about 12 months ago now. Me and my co-partner, XR Troika, over on Enough Is Enough, we set up some community nights ourselves. Actual sort of IRL, get down to the same location. We used Belong Arenas where they've got the PC set up already there. Went down there and just got as many people as we could down there from the local area to play Siege together. And it was a lot of fun. It was really good, just breaking down a few barriers between maybe different skill sets, different levels of play. And I think it's a great leveler and it's a good way just to celebrate enjoying the game.
Yeah, obviously, like, you'll agree that there has been, a bit of divergence in Siege right now with ranks and people who shouldn't play. And I get that you enjoy and advocate everyone should be able to play with each other, no matter what rank, no matter what.
Well, I think within ranked, I think the problem with I don't think that the MML lock is necessarily a bad thing that we've had brought in.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. Yeah.
I think the potential for mixed squads sometimes creates a situation whereby the lower ranks, we have a bit of elitism in the community, we know that, and I think the lower ranks get targeted a little bit because of that frustration of them getting dragged into higher games for the sake of boosting and other things to make the matchmaking more preferential for people. I think bringing about the unranked playlist and bringing about other options whereby you can play with your friends but not necessarily in the actual sort of live ranked build, if you will, I think is a step in the right direction, because we really need to break down that elitism. Whatever rank you're at, it's all about enjoying the game. And to be honest, it's interesting since they've put the chart that they've put in the game about the different ranks, and it shows the number of players at each level. That shows a clear average at around the low to mid gold levels. So for all this elitism that we see on Twitter and in the Twitch chats and everything else about gold level players and things like that, it's actually a large majority of the community is sort of mid gold and below. So it's all about how everybody just enjoys the game themselves, really.
Yeah, obviously, like, the game for me, it's been a bit wish-washy right now, but like, I'm getting back into it. The new season has brought a fresh start to me, and like, obviously, me as a gold player, right, I do see a bit of toxicity in the higher ranks and a bit of that elitism you talk about. And, all my friends, right, they're like high plat or high gold at least. And we usually get paired up with like plats and stuff. And I do have diamond friends that I play with a lot. And, you just get a lot of shit from higher ranked players, but that's not everyone in ranked. Of course, there is people that like to help and all of that as well.
I do think as well, when you play with people that are higher ranked than you, not necessarily like a huge gap between your skills, this perhaps, silver and diamond is a bit too far, but when I was new to the game, I actually had the opportunity to play with people who were a lot higher ranked than me, and I actually learned a lot quicker, I think, from that. So there is sort of this need for it, and also, you know, there is the chance that some of my friends are better than me. I'm not going to name any names, but it is good to learn from them, and I think playing with people who are a slightly higher rank than you can be really beneficial. But I do see, yeah, quite a lot of the toxicities between lower ranked players and high diamonds and things like that. But I think you get that in every game, and there is like amazing part of the community as well. So
Yeah, like
I think it's a really difficult one to align, really, because generally speaking, more often than not, the majority of players playing a computer game play it because they want to be good at it and they want to do better at it and they want to learn and they want to improve. So there is this desire to reach those upper ranks. You know, there is an element of status about it, of, you know, putting the time in and learning and getting there. But as you said, Hattie, I think the really important thing is in players being allowed to do that by playing with high. You know, you only get better by playing better. I've said this, you know, I've said this so many times. And when we do look at the MMR lock that's come in, I'm not sure it was necessarily the perfect solution to it. I doubt there is a perfect solution to it. You know, we've seen other options potentially of, instead of locking the MMR, just looking at the, you know, the top players' MMR, for example. So if you had a diamond in with 4 bronzes, you would still get ranked as if you were a squad of diamond players. So if you want to play with your friends still and they happen to be a spread of ranks, you can do that, but you're not going to be frustrating anybody by playing against lower ranks artificially. So, you know, there are other options there. I don't think the MMR lock is a bad solution. I think 1,000 is quite broad that they've brought it in at. So I think there's still, generally speaking, probably quite a lot of scope. I'd be surprised to see too many groups of players that are really losing out on being able to play with, you know, genuine regular friends because of the MMR lock. I would be surprised to see too many of that.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Obviously, it is a shame for people who want to play with their friends. For instance, I do have friends that are silver and I do genuinely enjoy playing with, but because of this and like depending on what rank I end up in, I might not be able to play with them this season. But then again, you could potentially do a counter argument and say, oh, why don't you just get a Smurf and make it their level? But like, that's not the point. If you want to play on your main account with your friends, you can.
Well, there'd be strong arguments of that being just as toxic as some of the other behaviour that we see anyway. You know, like you say, artificially lowering your level. A, the process of doing that damages other players' ranks because you're having to lose games in order to do that. And B, essentially, you're just going into a game that, you know, you're going to be able to run over people. I think it really needs to be more of a choice for a low rank player to come into a high rank game. If they're looking to improve, if they're looking to learn things like that, it needs to be more their choice to come into a high rank game rather than a high rank player's choice to go into a low rank game. Because ultimately, you know, your lower rank players are there to have a good time, enjoy the game, and that's being impacted upon by, you know, a platinum diamond player coming in there and just absolutely, you know, destroying. So I think the choice really needs to work from sort of low rank to high rank, and I think, you know, that's where maybe solutions could in future be developed, you know, maybe build on the MMR look that they've put in place now, where you can maybe make a conscious choice. You can say, you know, I want to play with higher ranks, so you can be moved towards those games possibly.
And I do love that about Siege, though. I mean, it's annoying sometimes when you're a genuine player and you play it a lot with all these changes, but I think it's such a growing project all the time, and I love how much it changes. And I think one thing never stays the same, so I think that's what's kind of quite nice about it, because if you have a problem with the game, you know that it's more than likely that along the line it will get changed. And I love how kind of different the Siege community feels because of that, how much it changes quite often in a good way, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know a lot of people won't agree with that, but
No, I think, you know, having met and spoken to people from Ubisoft, you know, right through to devs of the game and stuff, I can honestly say that every single person I've ever met, the one thing that I can say they've all had in common, no matter how different they are, is that they are just absolutely passionate about making Siege the best that it can be. And that's all they want. And all this, you know, They see all the complaints, they see all the feedback, they see all the problems, and they are just constantly working for solutions to it. And unfortunately, it's not an overnight, click your fingers, right, let's make that the absolute perfect game now. But like you said, there's that constant iteration there, and I really love that as well. I think they've got a really good link with the community.
Yeah, definitely. It's such a
Yeah.
unique game as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing about Siege though, is like, even if you do kind of hate it, you do know that it's going to get better. It can only get better or worse, but like, so in this situation, like, this season has improved over the past 2 seasons, in my opinion. It's taken most of the feedback, the negative feedback that they've received for the past 2 seasons, and they are, trying to fix it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Obviously, at the start of a season, though, it's going to still feel a bit choppy, if you know what I mean, because everyone's trying to get used to it. And the movement, and like, obviously, they did change the movement. And, I felt it felt smoother in TTS, but then, because I haven't played in a few days, it's a bit different to me, and I kind of don't like it. Yeah.
From TTS, definitely. The aiming and the moving and the ADS definitely feels different, but it doesn't necessarily feel bad. I just think you get so accustomed, don't you, to a certain setting or a certain way of a game feeling, and then obviously I've even turned my sensitivity down because it feels so much more smooth, which is not a bad thing. You just have to get used to the new game, and that's why it's fun. You have to relearn the game so often, and I love that.
Yeah.
Like with the map changes and all that stuff. It's great.
But some people do find it annoying, but at the same time, like, come on. You're still going to play the game. You're still going to play the game.
Yeah, it's a lovely relationship.
And, like, apart from, like, ranked in that, comp play I like comp play right now, and I do love what they're doing with the pilot program for organizations and putting skins into the game. Honestly, it's showing a greater support towards these orgs and these pro players, It's improving life.
I think it's a really important part of the Siege life cycle, if you will, and for how long we're going to see Siege being played at a seriously competitive level. The $2 million prize pool that we saw at the Six Invitational this year, so on, and the increase in the Challenger League prize pool and that sort of reinvestment. I think something like the pilot program is really, really important to that, and I think it is a fantastic step. If you look at other big esports titles, you look at something like Dota, their major tournaments over the year are crowdfunded in similar ways, and they are putting up huge prize pools now. And I think the more that gets expanded and the more work that gets put into that, the better, because ultimately, let's be honest, these organizations are businesses, and they're not there for the good of the health. They're not there because they just so passionately love Siege. I'm sure that's a part of it, but they are there to make money as well. And the more that these schemes come in and make it viable for them to remain in Siege. And let's not forget, it's not just about remaining in Pro League. We need to think about how viable it is for these organizations to remain if the team does come out of Pro League and into Challenger League. How viable is it for them to stick around with the view of their team getting back into Pro League? And the more that we can make that look appealing and attractive, and the more big organizations that we can see coming along, we've got some huge ones involved in Siege now. The more G2s that we can get, the more evil geniuses that we can get, it can only be fantastic, for competitive Siege going forward. I'm really interested to see with this pilot program. Let's not forget, this is the first time that G2 have been involved in the pilot program, because obviously they swapped orgs around about the time of the last one. I think, it was apparent later on that the Penta skins were ready to go. They did eventually get released, but, it was just at the wrong time that they switched orgs. So we've never had that roster being involved. And, they carry so much popularity within Siege that I'll be interested to see how successful this pilot program is compared to the last one, because I think they're going to see numbers like they've never seen before, to be honest.
Obviously, no, you go.
The teams, I mean, the guys that I know that play in kind of pro league scenes and CL scenes, and they put so much work and passion and effort and time, and it's honestly unbelievable how much time they put into it. So the bigger the prize money, the better, obviously, for everybody involved, because it's such a huge part of people's lives.
Of course,
I really respect it. I just think it's unreal.
But I also like that they're not going crazy with it. it's like they are reasonably cautious. You know, they don't want to, I think, just throw inordinate amounts of money into it so that they end up in a position where they have to look at Siege and say, do you know what, that's actually cost us a fortune to run that last year.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they are keeping it moderate so that it grows exponentially along with the audience, along with the players, and along with the interest in the game. You know, rather than just trying to throw a load of money at it to begin with so that they can have the headline poster, you know, $10 million tournament or whatever, just to get viewers in for that one tournament. They seem to be building like a really solid base. They want to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
Is how it
It's easier
appears.
to maintain, isn't
100%.
it? From a smaller jump than a
Yeah,
huge.
exactly. Just slowly building that up and not putting the money in until the money's there, effectively. You know, looking at the pilot program, how much has that made us, right? That money can go towards the prize pool. And yeah, I think it's a great way of doing it.
Yeah, no, obviously it's amazing that what they're doing, but also I want to touch up on the thing where you said Pro League and CL keeping them sustainable in it. Also, other things that do it, like community run leagues run by orgs, they also help branch people into Siege, and you know there are people doing their part to get more players to the game that they so love, and like stuff such as ESL Prem is a great gateway into competitive Siege. And also
Great
like
to watch.
yeah, it's just great to watch. Obviously last season the summer LAN that you were casting in at Ace, and oh my goodness, those were some intense games. They were
Absolutely, and you know, as you say, it is really important to have these entry points into competitive Siege, and you know, to have grassroots events like Epic LAN and things where teams can go along and sit shoulder to shoulder and play. You know, and those same teams can then aim to get into Premiership and things like CCS. You know, look at that. I can quite quickly give you, you know, personal experiences from a number of leagues of that sort of scale. You know, let's not forget, I casted Empire throughout their CCS season. I watched them go all the way through CCS, and now, you know, let's look at Empire. They're an absolutely phenomenal team. They've come on leaps and bounds.
yeah.
You know, I can say the same for Navi. I've watched them all the way from being M&M come through the Premiership. I saw them at the first Premiership LAN where they really struggled in the first round against Vexed and got knocked out, and then I've seen them develop that roster and develop as a team to the point where they now absolutely dominated the last couple of seasons of Prem. They're doing very, very well in the Pro League. You know, they're a fantastic set of guys on top of that as well. And, you know, what a pleasure that's been to watch that team come along. And this is what you've probably heard me say on stream as well. This is something that I really try to stress so much is with the right attitude and the right work, there is no reason why there can't be another Navi out there, why there can't be another Empire out there within the UK. You know, there's so many good players knocking about in the UK that if they get their heads together and knuckle down, the leagues are there, the entry points are there to get themselves into it, and with the right focus, you know, that is not a pipe dream. It's quite realistic.
I mean, anything you set your mind to, you can do, and that's the main point. Is like if you are a good player, this is just going out to anyone that's a player that's watching. Why not try it? Why not try these leagues? CCS League, obviously, a league that I'm casting in right now, Brutal League. It's a good entryway, and it's obviously like for everyone, £20 to enter, and we're in our first season, and it started this week. Also, you know, things like that, they're good to get into. To like branch into it, find players that you vibe with and, you know, can do things with. And also Prem promos is always an option as long as you're 18 and over. Let's just put it out there. No just a little bit of a disclosure. If you're not 18 or over, do not do that. That is against the rules, and you could get banned from ESL, so heads up.
It's just the people that you meet at all kinds of community nights, and the best bit about the community night for me that we played in was meeting the people on my team. Obviously I knew Ralphie because obviously he's in PH with me, but
gang
kind of
you know,
knew the other guys only through sort of, you know, Twitter and times I've sort of seen them casting or whatever. So it was really, really nice to be able to get to know people and play with people, and it was so much fun, and shit talking each other all day on Twitter. Hilarious as well.
It's some good sportsmanship there, but like to think of it, I wanted to break into that coming off from all of the tournament talk. The R6 community nights were such a good thing. it's given more exposure to creators. It's given exposure to creators you might not have even known, and you can see what they do. Things like R6 Community Nights and Twitch Rivals. Twitch Rivals was another one that did give good exposure. As you know, a couple of our streamers played in that. That was Jay and Tom and Candy. Jay, that was such a good thing to watch. They were gunning. You were gunning as well. Everyone in the team on the R6 Community Nights was gunning. Obviously, Ace was there casting it. Represent gang gang. Obviously, Ace was there seeing some good plays. Watched some creators, had fun. I assume. Obviously, had
so
fun.
much fun. It was hilarious.
They were great games to watch.
Yeah, they were so
great games to watch.
It was so thrilling, and I wasn't expecting it, but that's 7-0. Hattie, that's 7-0. How did that even happen?
And how that happened. Because I've known Snedger obviously from YouTube for a bit, and I haven't actually played against him before in ranked, which is kind of weird because you normally sort of play against him quite often, don't you, in the same sort of
Well, I haven't really played much pros in ranked, but I played Hungry from Penta in casual once.
Yeah. Quite a lot.
And I've played.
It's not fun. Joystick is not fun to play against.
I once killed Hexcat when he tried to run out me.
Nice. I was actually genuinely quite nervous to play against these big names that kind of I've known from being a bit of a fangirl of Siege. It was genuinely lovely, and I had such a laugh. It was fun.
I've often said, that with Siege, I think there's, again, I don't want to keep using the word elitism, but we look at competitive play, and you only need to go into a Twitch chat of a game that's not a pro league game, and you'll see the comments go, "Oh, these are just goal players" and things like that. And I've said countless times, all you need for an entertaining game of Siege in terms of watching it, and believe me, I've watched a lot of Siege, is an awful lot of Siege.
Yeah. I mean, come on, you're a caster, for God's sakes, man. Of course you've watched a lot.
And I've watched some not so entertaining Siege, and I've watched some very entertaining Siege, so I think I've got a reasonable opinion on it.
Yeah.
But genuinely, all you need is two evenly matched teams. It doesn't matter if that's two evenly matched silver teams. It doesn't matter if that's two evenly matched diamond champion teams. Whatever you've got, it doesn't matter. If those teams are evenly matched, honestly, you will have an entertaining game 9 times out of 10. And that's exactly what we saw with the community nights. It was fantastic to see, as you said, creators who, we see the names and everything else. It was so nice to see them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe that's the evil side of it, but just to see them, because
just the mastermind behind the evil plan.
I think people don't always have an appreciation of how different the competitive side of Siege is versus your average ranked game. If you're playing in a more competitive environment with the slightly altered rule set, and you're stratting as a 5-stack on a 5-stack, it's not something that you get very often in ranked until you get to the top tiers. So playing in a competitive setting is generally quite unusual, and it's quite different for people. And it was great to see how people like Hattie and the other creators in there really altered their play styles or adjusted to that, who adapted well, who struggled on the night, and it's great exposure for them. It was just an awful lot of fun to watch, and it was interesting to watch how everybody came in with this idea of, it's a bit of a meme, let's have a knife fight, let's have a bit of fun.
I thought it was, and then it just turned into this.
I tell you what, by map 3 on both nights, everybody was super seriously sweating, not wanting to lose those games, and my casting just adjusted with it. I was having a bit of fun to start with, and then at the end it was casting the Prem finals or something. I was locked right in, and it was a great example of the fact that what I'm saying, that it doesn't, don't feel like because you're not a platinum player, competitive Siege isn't for you. That's a load of rubbish. If you're a gold player and you want to try competitive play, go and find your level of competitive play. That's the point. No, don't go and take yourself into playing against a 5-stack of diamonds in Premiership qualifiers. You're probably going to struggle. But have a look around. More and more leagues are popping up. As you said, Lam, more and more community leagues that are well run, well organised. Get yourself involved in them. And the important thing is, even if you get hammered for the first time that you're in there, you're going to learn an awful lot. So just get yourself involved and just take that opportunity to learn it. It's all out there for you. You know, don't let anybody put you off. If you feel like I want to try competitive Siege, go and try competitive Siege. You know, it's absolutely that simple.
What is the worst that can happen? Like,
Yeah.
like,
If you're not meant for it, you're not
7-0.
meant for it.
I mean, I can
How
tell you,
about that was?
I can tell you weren't on the receiving end, Hattie.
Yes. You even got MVP.
In chat, everyone was like, "Oh, this is one-sided," obviously because we lost. They were like, "Oh, this isn't even fair." And then obviously the second map, we absolutely slapped. But I don't know, it felt like everyone relaxed so much more in the team on the second game that it was just kind of like, "Oh well, let's just like just have fun." But apparently, no, it came across as everyone was sweating really hard. But I don't know, it felt really natural and just fun.
All I know is when I was watching, I was like, "Come on, Ralph! Come on! You should have died there, Ralphie! Hi, what are you doing?" Just a bunch of that. Just screaming to myself. I swear I'm going to get evicted by watching these things. Everyone's going to give me a heart attack.
I am such an advocate of Frost. Like, I love her so much. So it's just
I've got a slightly different relationship with Frost.
I know, everyone hates her, it's great.
Ever so slightly different.
Yeah. Oh, those mats,
Funny.
though.
Never me, love it.
Yeah. Also, we did say there wasn't just creators in it. There was also players, casters such as Ollie, as you know, XR Troika.
I'm fairly familiar with.
Of course you are. You have enough is enough together, and you know what? You're. I can't say this enough. I can't express enough. You are great people for like encouraging and advocating community play and community nights, and honestly, I respect the hell out of that. It's fucking brilliant.
Thank you. I mean, it's something that we've always tried to do. You know, if you look at the basis of, I don't want to shout about us too much. It's not what we're here for. But if you look at why the channel was put together, you know, the whole idea behind Enough is Enough, and the name says it itself. It's, you know, to help those people that want to improve in the game, maybe want to enjoy it more than they are, and it's just about really how it's such a steep learning curve into Siege. It's about getting in there, breaking it down into manageable 5-10 minute slots that people can watch and they can take away and improve that night. You know, they've watched an Enough is Enough video that day. They can go and use that tonight, a good vertical angle, you know, a good explanation of droning, whatever it might be, and they can go and feel more comfortable in game. And so really, you know, our absolute foundation was from the lower end of the skill base of players. You know, that's the reality of what we're aiming for, is probably golds and below. Yeah, there's the odd nugget in there, don't get me wrong, for, you know, your platinum players and things like that. You know, yes, sometimes we do go a little bit further with it, but ultimately, you know, that was our original target, was to help people through the process that we just come through. We've been there ourselves. And so the community stuff has just sort of always come naturally from there, because, you know, we feel like, you know, we are there for the masses, for the majority of players that, you know, aren't the top end of platinum players. And then obviously with the casting, we've got involved with the more competitive sort of top end of skill players. So we sort of just present throughout the community, and we just love to see it coming together. And that's why the community nights, the Rookie Mistakes community nights, was so good, because as you commented on, we had the players in there, you know, players that we know that can help out the people on their team directly and offer some instruction and guidance. Obviously, serious players like Harry on there as well. Just
LFB G2. We're gonna get that.
Yeah, it was so great, and you know, that's why we get involved as much as we do with the community, because we love to see that mix of players coming together, because we know how valuable involvement with better players is for people who want to improve, and that's why I get so frustrated with sort of maybe top end players that are, you know, coming into, oh, it's just goal players, it's this, it's that, and, you know, using them as sort of derisory terms. And I don't want to see that. I want to see those players coming in and being positive members of the community, saying, actually, there's a way that you could have done that better, possibly. You know, let me show you, let me explain it to you, you know, and people on the other side of that need to be receptive as well. You know, we've all been there where we try to make a suggestion in game and you get told to shut up and, you know, team killed or whatever else. I know I have at least. I know I have at least.
I mean,
we just need to be a bit more receptive on both sides.
I mean, the thing is as well is, like, you know, sometimes you just want to just blow up. Like, if you've had a bad day and that stuff's happening to you, you're just like, shut the fuck up, you're a bot because your team killing me. You're losing the game for yourself. What do you mean? And like other times is like I have a story, right? There was this one time I was playing NA with my friend, and we met this very polite American NA player, and he was quite new to the game. He just came from CS:GO, and we were like, you know what? We're having a chill night anyway, so why don't we just take him, teach him how to like the basic concept, you know, some attachments to put on, and like I like, yeah, and I like doing that sometimes. Is when you just there's a player that's maybe like struggling with their attachment loadout, and like, you know, they don't know what to put on it, and they end up with like a suppressor and a red dot sight on Twitch's FAMAS, and you're like,
it's a steep learning curve,
yeah,
isn't it? Like when
then
you first get Siege, it's so daunting.
yeah,
Absolutely.
So
huge.
daunting. And I
That-
came from Xbox, and
Yeah.
I've never played a PC
Well,
game with keyboard and mouse.
that
And I went
that
straight into ranked. Literally my first
Oof.
game. Straight into ranked,
nice.
and I never stopped playing, and I was terrible for a very long time. Like,
Yeah.
I'm talking probably a year of being awful. And then you just build, and you build, and you build, and you build, and you just pick up more and more.
I mean, interestingly enough, I'm still kind of a new Siege player. I joined in White Noise, but I did pre-order it on PlayStation 4 when the game was first announced. I pre-ordered it, got my beta, thought it wasn't for me, so I cancelled the order, and then I came to PC in December of 2017, like December 5th, and I bought Siege, and I fell in love with the game. And
I haven't stopped playing it since.
I was like, yes, this is my shit. And I was playing with my friends, obviously, and there is a funny clip that my friend took ages ago when he was trying to stream a long time ago before he started seriously streaming now, of me playing the game and like trying to place a claymore and end up throwing a drone, like just those types of things, you know. And to see how far I've come from like back then, like I may be a gold still, but like I can gladly say I am a plat standard player. Like I'm at least low plat 3, but like because I enjoy playing with my friends, I don't really care about my rank.
And we can't forget, there are still issues in ranked with losing connection, being kicked from games,
Yeah.
not being able to reconnect, DDoSing, hacking,
Oh.
all of those things that I know you get in all games. But some people do just genuinely have a really unlucky season. Like last season for me was awful. I think I was DDoSed 23 times in 10 days.
Nice.
You have to take kind of people's rank with a bit of a pinch of salt, and it's about their actual talent in the game and their skills in the game when they're playing, not, you know, a badge next to their name. But
Yeah.
you know.
I think this is where unranked could play a really big part in things at the minute as well, and I think it's a great introduction. I know it's had a little bit of a mixed reception. I think because of how it was used on test server particularly, there was a lot of people dropping out of games and not really worrying
Yeah.
about it. The fact that that now impacts you across all playlists on the live build, I think will hopefully iron that out in time.
Yeah.
And what I would like to see is unranked genuinely become a reasonably serious environment.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want team killing, we don't want people dropping from games. What we want there is, you know, that to me is almost the shooting
learning
range,
curve.
the practice
Yeah.
area that people have been asking for, or
It's-
it's at least a halfway house we get in there.
Yeah.
Because now when a new player comes along, I can jump in there, you know, and I get the whole rank thing. Don't get me wrong. I get, you know, I
Yeah.
have a main account and I have a secondary account who, if I'm just playing with, you know, a bunch of friends, then I'll jump on the secondary
Yeah.
account. Don't get me wrong. I won't call it a Smurf because I'm
Yes,
really
it's not a
competitive.
Smurf. It's
Every single game.
it's
believe
an
me,
alternate
I
account.
play
It's just
to win. Yeah,
it's just an alternate account. Yeah.
I'm not going to have any ace exposed.
Jesus.
Ace
I'm not going to
Expo.
have any ace exposed.
Just a bunch of
no, you know,
tweets.
I'm not leveling it down or anything
Yeah,
like that. It's
yeah.
I play at a genuine level in there. I play every game to win, but it's just at least mentally. Then I feel like, right, when I've got my stack on and I'm playing seriously to win, I've got my main account, my AceOfPyrite account, and that's where I go to really sweat it out. And
Yeah.
you know, yeah, I'm trying to get the best rank I can. But it's like that's not even really that necessary anymore, because now if my, you know, group of friends come on that I just want to have a bit of fun with and play a few ranked games, I can jump into unranked. And
Yeah.
you know, or if there's a couple of new players that I want to help out, I can say, right, we want the proper rules set. You know, you need to be learning the ranked maps, so let's not go to casual, because you know you want to be learning those ranked maps and just playing on those. So let's jump into unranked. It doesn't impact on my rank anymore. So long as everybody in there is
Yeah.
taking it reasonably seriously and we can play a reasonably serious game, then you know the more experienced players can really help to teach people. Really
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, like
Or you could just jump into rank straight away like I did. I mean,
I mean, why not?
yeah,
Why
just you know what? If you want to go the whole way,
Be ruined like forever. There's
Yeah.
no getting back my KD, but
oh yeah, my KD's ruined. But like the thing is, I'm proud to say this. Over my time playing, I went from a 0.3 KD to 0.7 over my whole 2 years.
This is something else that I'd like to see maybe a bit more education on within the community, is that things like individual stats like
Yeah.
KD and things like that
KD
are
doesn't
very,
matter.
very misleading. You know, I I can see it already, the comments coming in. You're only
Yeah.
saying that is because your KD is terrible.
Whoa.
Which, to be fair, it is. But to be fair, I'm like a heavy support player, so I'm
Yeah.
quite often on your Thermite Thatcher. It's not unusual for me to play Valk or Maestro and spend an entire defensive round on my cams. That gains me absolutely nothing except usually a death in the last 20 seconds. But so often the information that's being provided, or the walls that have been opened, or you know, those support players and those alternative roles. So I think a bit more education around the makeup of a successful Siege team is really important. You know, we can, you know, you look back to the top level teams again. You look at somebody like Nello in Navi. Very, very rarely does he
Yeah.
even leave the objective rooms. You know, that is his role,
Yeah.
believe me. But his skill within the game, don't get me wrong, he's a gunner when he needs to be, but his skill within the game is he knows the objectives and those rooms on every map like nobody I've ever seen. Seriously, like he knows every corner and every angle
Yeah.
of them.
That's the thing
And
about
so-
Siege though, is it's went from a defense like more of a, you know, site based game to a frag game back to more of a site based game.
Yeah, it's definitely heading back towards the strategy now, which I think is great. And I think along with that, having a bit more education around the community and pointing out to people that, you know, a successful Siege team is based on a number of roles within the team combining well, all of which might not attract the best KD. But, you know, we've spoken about X a couple of times. I'm quite frequently 6 feet ahead of X with a drone, you know, and he's an absolute gunner, and he's just going in behind and just acting on those call-outs that I'm giving him. And that's not improving my KD at all, you know, but it's just as important. And everybody, you know, everybody's got a place in Siege. I think that's what I'm trying to get
Definitely.
to.
Like,
Absolutely, yeah.
you can be a support player, you can be a fragger, you can be whatever the hell you want, but at the end of the day, it is a team-based game. That's the main point of it.
Absolutely.
You have to, like, as well as, like, you know, teams you do see particularly do better in like frag game and stuff. See if you've got two like fraggers, like you're gonna see teams in comp play, obviously more in comp play than ranked, but they are gonna be sticking close to each other, trying to get those frags back off.
It's the trade-offs, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Definitely.
Gonna be like shoulder to shoulder, and once that kill is taken, they're gonna get the refrag. That's what you're aiming to do, but obviously it's not always the case. But like, it's fine. Siege is a team-based game as long as you have the call, it's the information, everything. You don't need to be a fragger to help your team and win rounds.
Definitely.
Yeah, and obviously I'd like to touch one more thing about community nights. I love them. that's the last thing I want to say. But obviously, since we are running against the clock, we're gonna move into some of our segments we do every week. It's became a staple of LambCast every time we've had a guest. Ace, apart from anything Rainbow Six related, what games are you excited for? As well as you, Hattie.
You see, you've done me there. I was going to say the new Siege.
The
Quarantine, that's what I'm looking
yeah.
forward to. No, so genuinely, after playing the Ghost Recon beta, I was lucky enough to get invited to the beta, so had a little look at that. Aurora looks like an absolutely amazing game world to explore. I know it's keeping me a bit of a company man on the Ubisoft bandwagon, but I do just genuinely love the games. And I'm really looking forward to Ghost Recon coming out. I think that's probably going to be a lot of fun. But other than that, I'll be honest, Siege does take up an awful lot of my time.
Yeah, obviously,
so I don't have too much time to enjoy other games a lot of the time. I sort of try. I played some Division, I played some Anno and things like that, but I just always end up back with Siege.
So you're a Ubisoft man at heart.
Absolutely, through and through.
Anyway,
I think the problem with me is because I obviously struggle a little bit to fit anything else in other than streaming, work, and Siege. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, Siege just kind of ruined RPGs for me. I used to love RPGs,
Uh-oh.
but now it's kind of, it just doesn't compare to Siege for me. So
Yeah.
I'm always just like, oh, I just want to go play Siege. I'm going to go play Siege. So I am looking forward to Halo though.
Oh yeah,
I'm
definitely.
a big Halo player, so I'm very excited for that. I downloaded Gears the other day, so that's pretty good. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
Well-
just a bit of a siege whore, really.
I have thought of another one actually that I'd forgotten about because it keeps coming on my radar and then disappearing, and I get really excited every time I remember that they're doing it. And that's the new Command and Conquer, the
Ooh.
rebuild of Command and Conquer. I'm
Oh.
really, really looking forward to that. Big
Some
Command
really
and
good
Conquer
games
player,
coming
but
out
I was like Command and Conquer 1. It probably gives my age away a little bit.
Well,
I was like,
I'm not gonna give
and
my
I
age
loved
away.
it. And then Red Alert 2,
Yeah.
played an awful lot of them. I ended up playing. Well, I said I've been playing Anno recently. That was basically to scratch my RTS itch. So yeah, I am really, really looking forward to that, seeing as they've got most of the Westwood team back together, and I think hopefully that's going to be very, very good.
Well, I say it every week. I say what games I'm excited for. COD, obviously, we're reaching closer and closer. I've got the beta. I've got the beta on console because my friend gave me a code. So I'm gonna be a disgusting person and use mouse and keyboard because there's compatibility with that. I did that in the 2v2. I did that in the 2v2 alpha. Oh no, I felt so bad, but at the same time I didn't. I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, I'm excited for that. That's coming out next week. The cross-platform beta. And this is the first Call of Duty that has cross-platform, which is great for the COD community. It's opening up many things. Also, other games.
Great for the PC players.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's also games I'm excited for. Cyberpunk, big one. Always going to be excited for that.
Yeah, I saw some of that at E3, and it looked really interesting. I like the cyberpunk idea, you know, the neon, the sort of feel of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that looks quite interesting.
Also, other games, other Outer Worlds, which is I gather you've played Fallout New Vegas, both of you, yes.
Yes.
No.
Oh well, have you played any Fallouts, Hattie?
I play. No, actually.
Ooh.
My boyfriend played them.
Yeah.
He didn't like number 3.
Yeah.
The problem I had with the big problem I had with Fallout was I played too much Oblivion, and with it being by Bethesda, I just went in there and I felt like it was just a reskinned Oblivion. So I felt like, even though I hadn't, I honestly felt like I'd already played about 500 hours
Skyrim,
of Fallout.
No? I played a lot of Skyrim. Is it that kind of like open?
Yeah.
It's
Skyrim is bomb. Don't even at me. That game's been released so many times and no one's even questioning it. I mean, come on. We got Skyrim, like Xbox 360, PS3, the original Skyrim on PC. Then we've got Skyrim Special Edition in 20. I'm not mad about it. It's a good.
Bring them out.
It's a great game, and like it's an endless title, and you can mod it and like make it good. Skyrim for the Switch. Come on. Like, it's had so many releases. They made so much money off of it. And interestingly enough, I know this is touching away, but like we are talking about games at this point. LambCast isn't just about Siege anymore. But, you know, we do love to keep that Siege element. Obviously bringing Ace on and Hattie on. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, Skyrim. Interestingly enough, they held a competition, and a baby was born on the 11th of the 11th of the 11th. And they named the kid Dovahkiin. They would earn like free Bethesda stuff for life, and someone actually won it.
Not worth it.
That's pretty.
Honestly, I'm not sure that's worth it.
I mean,
to be that guy.
Come on, free Bethesda stuff for life. I'm down, but like, apart from that, Outer Worlds, obviously that's Fallout in space essentially, but like it's made by the people who made Fallout New Vegas, so Obsidian, which have most of the original Fallout 1 and 2 Tactics and Brotherhood developers, you know, when they used to be like RPGs, but top-down view and stuff.
I tell you what I would like, in sort of more fantasy leaning that I don't think is being made at the minute, but I'd love a new Dead Space. I really enjoyed Dead Space.
The only reason they won't make a new one is because they didn't sell much on free, I think.
I want Viva Pinata on PC. Now.
Give me
myself an old Xbox just to play Viva Pinata, and I'm
No.
proud of it. I'm not ashamed.
Yeah.
I love how bratty that sounded.
Give me it now.
I want it now.
Yes.
I've been waiting for so many. I can't explain how long. I really
Yeah.
genuinely thought it would have come out on PC by now. It was a massive game, like
Yeah.
silly little game compared to things like Siege, but it's just so addictive.
Oh, but that's the thing though. The silly games are some of the best games.
Like Plants
There's
vs
always room
Zombies.
for
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of one of those addictive kind of you can't stop playing Stardew Valley type game.
Yeah. I get what you mean. Like people, and like right now, obviously World at Warcraft's making a big return with World at Warcraft Classic.
Massive,
Yeah. RuneScape still a good game. Still aged well. Love a bit of RuneScape. Honestly, like some games just that need to come back. Skate. Remember Skate 3? And they never made a Skate 4. Like what happened to Skate? Tell me you've played Skate. You've never heard of Skate? Oh my god.
No.
It's one of the best games ever.
I don't believe you. I would
You're
have heard of it by now.
it is one of the best games ever. Skate. You know how Tony? Have you ever played Tony Hawk Pro Skater?
Oh yeah.
It's basically that, but better.
Oh okay.
And like honestly, they made
Like
free. Yeah, like
awesome
Ollies
shit.
and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could play it with friends, and like you could just do the most dumb shit, and it was so fucking fun. It was so stupid, but it was so good. And like honestly, I would kill to have that back. Like I would kill to have like 2012 back. I want 2012 back. That was peak of games for me. Like we had Black Ops 2 and all of that. Oh, I miss 2012, but I don't miss it at the same time because the whole end of the world fiasco. People are dumb sometimes, but you know what? Let's move on. Obviously, is there any questions you two would like to ask me about the show, about my streaming career, anything?
Sounds a bit desperate there, mate.
Please, I
how
want to
do you
talk
do
about
them?
me.
I know you're on 11 now, aren't you? So do you do them once every week, or?
Yeah, once every week. I do it every Friday, and you know we had 10 episodes last week, which was our 10th episode special.
Nice. You
Enjoyed it. Yeah, of course. It was just a stupid idea. This was like an idea that came to tuition, and like you know, I love it.
I'm actually quite really impressed. I've kind of wanted to do a mental health talk, kind of every few months or something, just to kind of have that little corner in my community, because I'm very open about obviously working in mental health and being having personal experience as well. So I find it's another passion alongside gaming. So I think I would like to do something similar. So I'm watching you, Lamb.
You're watching me.
You do it.
I think I'd like to ask Lam, who has your favourite guest been?
Who's my favourite guest been?
Good one.
There's not been many guests, to be honest. Well, actually, wait.
Excuse me.
And you've got two crackers right here, so
You two are amazing guests. Like I can't say who my favourite is. I have no favouritism. I love everyone equally who comes in the show, because
take that to mean that it's not us, Hattie.
Yeah, me too.
Wow.
Where's my agent?
Well, I will let you know a few of my favourite streamers and casters. Well, LadyFrontBum, Ralphine, Giota, the whole of T4H stream team, obviously. Mo, great streamer. If you don't watch her, then you should as well. You should also follow Hattie. You know, casters, XR Troiker, AceOfPyrite, obviously. Fluke, amazing caster, love him.
Fluke's a great caster.
Yeah.
It's always X.
Yeah.
Just
I thought that was sort of I thought that was a given, but I thought I'd better just come in with.
So X. Just
To be honest, there are some that I'm not gonna lie, I mute. There are some casters around that I can't listen to. But we have genuinely some really, really strong casters.
Obviously.
Demo and XRT, obviously.
Yeah.
And obviously you, Ace,
Thank you.
one of my favourites.
Demo.
Yeah, there are some
I
amazing.
do like Demo as well. Demo has that he's a good hype man. I'll call him a hype
The
man.
best thing at the minute is we've got like really good relationships between all of us. Like, we all get on really well. All of the British guys. So it's always a lot of fun when we're at events, no matter which of us are working them. The best ones are when we're all there, but if there's two of us, three of us, you know, whatever it is, we always have a really good laugh at the events, and I think that's probably part of what comes across as well.
Definitely.
We just have that good synergy between all of us. So it's nice.
Yeah.
It's like a bromance on
they're
screen,
really,
but not.
they're a really good. They're a really good set of guys. I get on
Obviously,
with them all very well. So.
I would also like to create a new segment. I've been creating new segments. You know what? I'm gonna, even though it's not much, here's a little bit of a platform to say what you've got coming up and what you would like to announce. If you've got anything you want to do, anything coming up that you want to announce right now, and go for it.
I don't have anything specific to announce. I'm going to be getting back into the Enough is Enough videos. Particularly, I've had a little bit of a hiatus whilst the casting schedule's been a little bit busy over the last month or two, as you may have seen. So I've just got a little bit of time before stuff starts kicking off again. So hopefully, going to get some operator guides done for the 2 new operators, Amaru and Goyo. Particularly want to get them done because I know they always do well on the channel. I think they're quite popular. People like to see those, especially with an operator like Amaru, who's really different to anything that we've seen. So yeah, gonna get those done. I'd quite like to get back to streaming. That's dropped off quite a lot as well. Me and X used to have a regular Monday night stream, Monday Gunday, and we had a good little community growing there.
It's
and
not like a strip show or something.
Magic Mike.
We'd like to get back to that as well, I think, and we just don't want to jump into that until we can, absolutely sort of follow through with it being regular. So that's probably what's on the cards for me, apart from stuff that I can't really mention at the minute.
Not much really. Just continue to stream more. I need to go back to streaming more often. I've let it slip a little bit recently, but I think it's really important to, when you kind of notice, not necessarily your mood dropping, but like when you kind of lose the motivation, kind of it pinpoints me to think, okay, I need to do something else today rather than stream. And I think that's a healthy relationship with streaming, and I'm hoping to do it a little bit more. And hopefully eventually we'll do some of the mental health streams. And just continue to
you know what, Hi, if you're down, I would love to have a segment every week where you can just pop on and talk about it, or every month or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah, definitely. I think it's good just to even just to open up a conversation about it. It doesn't matter kind of in what place that is, really. Mental
health is important. And also, I would like to touch up on the thing about motivation with streaming. I had a 100+ day streak from when I started until I took my first ever break. But then stuff's been popping up, such as the casting and stuff. I've had to neglect my stream a bit, but obviously I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I may actually need to make a schedule now. I never had a schedule before. Lamb was just always on.
Yeah, mine was too. Before I started, before I went to my new job, it's one of those things, and you do build up a community, and I feel this guilt kind of when I don't stream, but I think it's so important to just to explain, I'm having a bit of a rough day or whatever it might be. I've hurt my back recently this week, so I haven't been streaming as much, but it's kind of important to, I would just say, not to kind of give streamers a hard time and not to feel pressured, and to do it when you feel that you're up to it.
It's really important to give streamers a break. You don't control them, but at the same time, I'm not saying that people do that. I'm just saying if they haven't been around for a while, just wait. They will eventually be back.
There's nothing wrong with checking in.
It's nothing wrong with checking in.
How are you? That question is really important. How are you doing? You've been around, but that's kind of not, pressurizing. Why aren't you streaming?
Why aren't you online? We miss you. That's why you don't give out your Snapchat.
It is lovely and sweet. Hopefully I'll be able to get back on it more.
But apart from that, if that's everything, I'd like to say a few things. Thank you, Rocket and Paga, for the follows tonight. And sorry I've neglected the chat a bit. I just wanted to keep in conversation with the guests tonight, as it is just me, myself, as the host. Lamb, it's called LambCast, it's in the name. Once again, I will say, I've been joined by AceOfPyrite and LadyFrontBum. I thank them so very much for coming along tonight. And all I have to say is it's been LambCast, and good night.
Thank you for having us, Lamb. Thank you.
See you next week, everyone.
Pleasure.
Bye.